Okay, so you said some pretty intense material my way about this John Titor guy
Oh, yeah.
and his predictions about the future, and I gotta say it's given me chills. So
Yeah, he's a fascinating figure, really. Even decades later, people are
yeah,
still talking about him and debating his predictions. I think there's something about this story, a mix of technology and social upheaval and a bit of mystery that just draws people in.
yeah, no, for sure. And the fact that he claimed to be a time traveler from 2036, I mean, come on, that's wild. What really caught my attention was this audio file you sent that dives into some of his most shocking predictions. Like, I mean, we're talking about Civil War, World War III, even a link to Donald Trump. I mean,
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Teeter's story so compelling.
Yeah.
He doesn't just make vague predictions about
Right.
flying cars or futuristic gadgets. He really dives into the nitty-gritty of social and political upheaval, and it makes you think.
Yeah.
It forces you to confront
Yeah.
some uncomfortable truths about our own society and where we might be headed.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's start with this stolen presidency thing he predicted. He claimed that a future U.S. election is manipulated through electronic voting machines, and it leads to a full-blown coup and civil war.
Oh,
Is there,
wow.
I mean, is there any real-world basis for a claim like that?
Well, concerns about election security, especially when it comes to electronic voting, those have been around for a while now. There
Right.
have been documented cases of hacking attempts and vulnerabilities in these systems.
Sure.
So it's not entirely far-fetched to think that someone could exploit those weaknesses, right?
So Teeter might have just tapped into these real-world anxieties about our democratic.
Exactly. That's part of it. He's playing on our fears in a way.
Yeah, it's unsettling for sure. Did he did he give any specifics about this civil war?
Oh, absolutely. He described this pretty bleak picture of cities, raising their own armies,
Yeah.
essentially becoming like these independent city-states.
Oh, wow.
And then they start raiding rural areas for resources because
Right.
they need food, water, all that stuff. And so people in the rural communities, they're forced to band together and fight back.
Wow.
And Teeter claimed that he actually joined a militia called themselves the Fighting Diamondbacks.
Fighting Diamondbacks. That's
Yeah, I know.
just a name that sticks with you.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. I mean, you can almost picture it, right? Just ordinary people pushed to their limits, having to,
Yeah.
take up arms to protect their families and their
Their way of life.
way of life.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's like something out of a dystopian novel.
It is, and I think that's the point, right? He's tapping into these primal fears we have about,
Yeah,
social collapse and scarcity and the breakdown of law and order. He's throwing us into this world
that's scary.
where all the comforts of modern society have vanished.
And people are just fighting to survive. And it makes you think,
Yeah.
what would you do in that situation? How far would you go?
And this whole stolen presidency thing too, it makes you wonder if Teeter was trying to make a point about how fragile democracy really is
Right.
and how easily it could all be undermined if we're not,
Absolutely.
actively working to safeguard it.
Yeah, I think it's a reminder to be vigilant, to be aware of the potential for manipulation and
Mm.
interference, especially when it comes to our elections.
That's a lot to think about, especially, given our own political climate in recent years.
Seriously. Okay, but Teeter's predictions about Civil War didn't stop there, right? He also talked about World War III.
He did.
Yeah.
And that's where things get even more intense, if you can believe it.
Oh, wow.
He predicted that Russia would launch nuclear attacks on major U.S. cities,
Oh, geez.
which would then trigger a global conflict. And according to Teeter, the death toll from this war would reach 3 billion people worldwide. 3 billion. I mean, that's almost half the world's population, at least back then.
It's a staggering number.
I mean, what did he say happened to the world after such a devastating conflict?
Well, he described a world that was forever scarred by nuclear war. Cities were in ruins, poisoned by radiation. He specifically mentioned China taking advantage of the situation, expanding its power throughout Asia.
So, in Teacher's version of the future, America gets hit with a civil war, then a nuclear attack, and then a rising global superpower steps in to take advantage of the chaos.
That's basically it,
Isn't
yeah.
that a lot?
It's a pretty terrifying scenario.
It is.
And it's hard to imagine coming back from something like that.
Yeah. He also had something to say about Australia, right?
He did. It's an interesting detail. He said that Australia wasn't directly targeted in the war.
Okay.
but they chose to completely isolate themselves from the rest of the world afterward.
So almost like a modern-day Atlantis, cutting themselves off
Exactly.
Yeah.
to avoid the fallout. Okay, so what happened to America then? Did he say what life was like there after the war?
He did, and it's pretty different from the world we know today.
Okay.
I mean, it's a whole other world. He described it as a return to a simpler way of life, like a more agrarian lifestyle,
Oh, yeah.
with communities forming around universities and colleges,
Oh, interesting.
because of all the knowledge and resources they had.
So knowledge becomes the most valuable currency in this
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
I mean, did he say anything about how people lived? Like, how was society structured?
Yeah, he described it as very decentralized, like small, self-sufficient communities, all focused on survival.
Okay.
He said things like, hospitals, as we know them, basically ceased to exist. Doctors would travel around by horse and buggy.
Wow, so it's like a forced reset
Pretty much.
of civilization in a way. Did he say anything about, how people coped with all this upheaval? Did they find ways?
An increase in community gatherings, things like dances and bonfires, People kind of finding solace and connection through those shared experiences.
So even in the face of, like, devastation, he saw this kind of glimmer of hope,
Yeah, exactly.
human resilience shining through.
Yeah, there's almost a sense of nostalgia in his descriptions, like
Yeah.
a yearning for a simpler time
Right.
when people relied on each other more.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that America was divided into 5 regions, right?
Right.
Did Titor explain how that worked? Like,
He did. He said that freedom of movement was severely restricted. You could travel locally,
okay.
as far as your bicycle could take you, but you had to return home.
Oh, wow.
And if you wanted to relocate to a new community, you had to apply and be interviewed. And then once you were accepted,
Oh, wow.
you were expected to contribute or face banishment.
It's like this blend of, like, frontier-style self-reliance,
Yeah,
but also, like, a very structured, almost authoritarian
right.
kind of community control.
That's like a weird mix.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It makes you to think about, what lengths people might go to in order to survive
Exactly.
and maintain order in a world that's, like, teetering on the brink.
Right. And it ties into one of Titor's most practical pieces of advice, actually, which was to prepare what he called a bug-out bag.
Oh, right.
He stressed the importance of having a bag packed with all your essential supplies.
Right.
Ready to go at a moment's notice.
A bug-out bag. That's
Yeah.
a pretty stark reminder that in his world, stability
It
was
was always precarious.
precarious.
Yeah. Danger could be lurking around any corner.
Did he ever offer any insights into his motives? Like, why share these predictions at all?
That remains one of the biggest mysteries surrounding John Titor. He
Yeah.
never fully explained why he chose to share his story. He just said that his reasons were personal.
Personal. That's
Yeah,
that's pretty vague.
It is, and it just adds another layer of intrigue to the whole thing.
What was he hoping to achieve? Was he trying to warn us about a future that we could still avoid?
It's impossible to say for sure. Some people speculate that he was trying to change the course of history,
Right.
while others believe he might have been seeking something more personal, maybe even just the connection with people in our time.
He did claim to have proof of his time travel, right?
He did!
Something about a video showing his time machine bending light.
Yeah, the video allegedly showed a laser beam being distorted by the gravitational field around his time machine.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Yeah, it sparked a lot of debate online, with some people dismissing it as a hoax,
Right.
and others claiming it was genuine evidence of his technology.
It definitely added fuel to the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Did anyone ever conclusively prove or disprove the authenticity of the video?
Not that I know of. I think the ambiguity is part of what keeps people fascinated with Titor's story.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle with missing pieces, And everyone's free to fill in the gaps with their own interpretations.
Okay, so after all this time traveling and cryptic predictions, what happened to John Titor? Did he just vanish?
That's exactly what happened. After a few months of online activity, he just disappeared in March of 2001. Gone without a trace.
Wow, almost as quickly and mysteriously as he arrived.
Yeah.
Did he ever say where he was going? Like back to 2036 or?
He didn't, which of course just adds to the mystery.
Of course.
Did he successfully return to his own time? Did his mission, whatever it was, come to an end? We're left with more questions than answers.
It's like he was a ripple in the fabric of time, just briefly disrupting our reality with his stories of this possible future
Right.
and then fading away just as abruptly. It's amazing how Titor's story, even if it's all made up, it makes you look at our world differently.
It does.
It makes you question, what we might be taking for granted.
Absolutely. I mean, John Titor, whether a genuine time traveler or just a really good storyteller,
Right.
he offers this unique lens, right, to examine our present and really think about the choices that shape our future.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, hey, this is a potential future. Might not be pretty, but it's based on the trajectory you're on right now. Take a good look and decide if this is the path you really want to follow.
It is a warning.
Yeah.
And I think even if we set aside the whole time travel aspect,
Right.
one of the most valuable takeaways is this idea of preparedness.
Right, the bug out bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a bag ready, being prepared for anything, it makes sense on a practical level,
Yeah, it's funny because when you first hear about a bug out bag, you think, okay, that's a little extreme.
Right.
But then you realize unexpected events, they happen all the time.
They do.
Whether it's a natural disaster or a power outage or even a pandemic, I mean, those things can happen to anyone.
Right. At any time.
Yeah.
And it's not just about having the physical stuff, the supplies.
Right.
It's also about having the right mindset,
Yeah.
Being resourceful, being able to adapt, knowing how to solve problems when they come up.
Being resilient.
Exactly. And those are skills that are valuable no matter what the future holds, right?
So Titor's predictions, even the really bad ones, you can kind of see them as this call to action.
Right.
Like a reminder to take responsibility for our own well-being.
For sure.
And to be prepared for challenges, whatever they may be.
And it goes beyond just personal preparedness, right? It's also about being engaged citizens, participating in our communities, holding our leaders accountable, and speaking up about the issues that affect our future.
Yeah, it's like Titor, whether he meant to or not, is making us ask some tough questions.
Yeah, he is.
Are we doing enough to protect our democracy? Are we addressing the issues that could lead to unrest and conflict? Are we investing in a future that's sustainable and fair for everyone?
I think those are the conversations we need to be having if we're really going to learn anything from Titor's story,
Yeah.
We need to look past the sensational stuff and really grapple with that deeper message that our choices today, they really determine the world we're going to live in tomorrow.
And that's a powerful message, whether you believe in time travel or not.
It is.
I mean, Titor's story, with all its twists and turns, it all comes back to this idea of human agency.
Right.
We're not just passive passengers, We have the power to shape our own destiny.
Absolutely. Both individually and as a society.
Yeah, so as we wrap up this deep dive into John Titor and his predictions, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that the future's not set in stone,
No, it isn't.
It's up to us to write the next chapter.
That's a hopeful way to look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this this journey into the world of John Titor and his predictions.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep an open mind.
And keep those bug-out bags handy just in case.